Sir, you face 4 counts this morning. Count 1 is motor vehicle homicide. That is a Class 2 felony. If you are convicted, sir, you face the following potential penalty: a maximum up to 50 years imprisonment and a minimum of 1 year imprisonment. Count 2, sir, driving under the influence, causing serious bodily harm. Sir, that is a Class 3A felony. That subjects you to the following potential penalty: a maximum up to 3 years imprisonment and 18 months of post-release supervision, or a $10,000 fine, or both. Sir, there is no minimum for imprisonment and 9 months of post-release supervision if imprisonment is imposed. Sir, I will tell you also that there are other issues. You have the ability to have probation if it would be determined to be appropriate, and with no probation, you face those allegations or those potential penalties. Do you understand that, sir? Count 3, sir, is failure to stop and render aid. Sir, that is a Class 3 felony, and that subjects you to the following potential penalty: a maximum to 4 years imprisonment and 2 years of post-release supervision, or a $25,000 fine, or both. There's no minimum for imprisonment and 9 months of post-release supervision if imprisonment is imposed. Sir, do you understand the nature of the charges you face this morning and the possible penalties? Preliminary hearing in this case is set for December 28, 2018. Again, that will be at 9 a.m. in courtroom number 625. Mr. Lindberg, State's position concerning bond.
Thank you, Your Honor. With respect to the bond, December 1st, 2018, approximately 5:35 p.m., the defendant runs a red light at 144th and Harrison, collides with the passenger side of a vehicle being driven by Clifford Cannaday, in which Trevor Cannaday is a passenger. The defendant fled the scene on foot after the collision. Law enforcement began investigating with respect to the collision. The passenger, Trevor Cannaday, ultimately died of injuries sustained in that collision from blunt force trauma to his chest, head, and abdomen. The driver, Clifford Cannaday, had facial injuries, a fractured sternum, and internal injuries. He remains hospitalized at this time. Law enforcement began investigating to determine who was the potential driver of the run vehicle. Eventually identified some parties they believe may know where the whereabouts of that party. They do encounter Jeffery Eggeling walking on foot a short distance from the collision approximately 2 hours later at 7:43 p.m. He appears to be under the influence of alcohol. He does eventually make some admissions to driving the motor vehicle and fleeing due to having prior DUI charges. He is given a data master test with a result of .103 at approximately 8:56 p.m. Law enforcement further does a search warrant for the airbag control module on his vehicle. The initial information there would indicate he is going 69 miles per hour, a half a second prior to the crash, in a 45-mile-an-hour zone. The defendant has prior DUIs: September of '05 in Douglas County, September of 2016 in Douglas County, May of 2016 in Arizona, and he has an operating a vessel while intoxicated out of Missouri in September of 2012. Due to the defendant's significant history of DUIs and his flight here in connection with this offense, I think a significant bond is warranted. He presents as a flight risk. I'd ask bond be set somewhere in the range of $750,000.
Thank you. Mr. McNall, I'll hear from you then, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. I was limited information on Mr. Eggeling. I met him briefly yesterday and wasn't aware the charges were filed until I checked this morning. I can tell you that he's 36. He's a college graduate. I believe he has an engineering degree from the University of Nebraska in 2006. If he were to post bond, Judge, he'd be staying with family here in Omaha, Nebraska.
Very well. No pretrial release this morning. Bond will be set at $750,000, subject to the following terms and conditions. In the event that he would make that bond, he will be required to wear a scam bracelet at all times he would be released. He will not leave Douglas County, Nebraska for any reason without an order of the court. In addition to that, he will have no direct or indirect contact with any of the witnesses. With that, he is excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may, sir.